My cousin Emma raised her champagne glass and smiled at the whole room. "And here's to my cousin," she said, her voice dripping with fake warmth. "The one who couldn't hack it in the real world." Everyone laughed. My uncle chimed in from the back. "Still playing around with that little hobby of yours?" More laughter. Harder this time. I stood there at my own family reunion, holding a paper plate, feeling my face burn. They had no idea what was coming. What none of them knew? In 72 hours, everyone in that room would see my face on the evening news. Not as the failure, as the feature story. I had the interview footage already locked. The segment was scheduled. The producer had sent me the final cut 3 days before I even walked into this reunion. They called it a hobby. The news was calling it a Pulitzer-backed investigation that changed state law. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Where are you watching from and what time is it there? Drop your time zone below and hit subscribe, because this story gets wild. Let me take you back to where it all started. I grew up in a family that believed in one thing. Success meant the dealership. My dad built it from a single lot to 5 locations across 2 counties. My uncle ran sales. My aunt handled finance. My cousin Emma was being groomed to take over marketing. And then there was me. At 16, I told my parents I wanted to study journalism. My dad looked at me like I'd just set money on fire. "Journalism is for people who can't do real work," he said. My mom was quieter, but the message was the same. "You'll come crawling back when the bills pile up." I didn't crawl back. I took out loans. I worked 3 jobs through school. I graduated with a degree in documentary production and exactly 0 financial help from my family. They stopped calling after the first year. I spent the next decade grinding. Freelance gigs that paid $200, overnight editing shifts, pitching stories that got rejected 99 times before one landed. But I had a mentor at PBS who believed in me, and I learned one thing early: document everything. Every rejection letter, every small win, every email, every contract, every piece of proof that I was building something real. I'm a documentarian. Evidence is what I do. 3 regional Emmy nominations. A grant from the Pulitzer Center. A 10-part series on opioid recovery that helped change state policy on medication-assisted treatment. My files had everything. Press clippings, grant letters, impact reports, survivor thank you notes. I never thought I'd need them against my own blood. Then came the invitation to the 20th family reunion. I almost didn't go. After Emma's toast, I tried to slip out to the parking lot. She caught me by the door. "Hey, can we talk for a second?" Her smile didn't reach her eyes. We stepped into a side hallway. She pulled out her phone and showed me a document. "We need you to sign this. It's just a quick family statement for the dealership's PR. Dad's running for Chamber of Commerce president, and we want to show we support all our family's ventures, even creative hobbies." I read the first line. It called my work a passion project. It said the family had always been supportive. "I'm not signing that," I said. Her smile vanished. "It's one signature. It helps all of us. I've never taken a cent from any of you since I was 22. You know that." "That's not how they'll hear it," she said. Her voice went cold. "Sign, or we make sure everyone knows you've been struggling. We have reach in this town. People listen to us." My dad appeared from around the corner, like he'd been waiting. "Don't make this harder than it has to be," he said. "We're trying to help you. You've always been so proud. Just let us do this." I looked at both of them. My father, my cousin, people who once shared my last name but never shared my dreams. "I'm not signing." Emma's jaw tightened. "You have until tomorrow morning. We're releasing the statement either way, with or without your cooperation." She turned and walked back into the reunion hall. I stood there shaking. They wanted to rewrite my story, use me as a prop for their image. I walked out to my car and sat in the dark. I drove back to my hotel and opened my phone. The family group chat was exploding. Someone had added me back without asking. Emma's message came first. "Some people just can't accept help." My dad's reply, "We tried. She's always been too proud." My uncle Ron, "Some people can't handle success." my aunt posted something worse. A sympathetic paragraph about how much they loved me and just wanted me to accept support. It was gaslighting at scale. And it was working. The next morning, a local blog that covers business news ran a puff piece about the dealership. Buried in the third paragraph was a line about one family member's struggles in the arts. My phone rang. It was a freelance editor I'd worked with. "Hey, are you okay? I saw that blog post. Do you need anything?" The humiliation was spreading. I sat on the hotel bed staring at the screen, watching the messages pile up. For a moment, just one moment, I thought about disappearing, letting them win, going silent and never speaking to any of them again. Then my email pinged. The news producer. Subject line, segment locked for Sunday, 6 p.m. prime slot. I opened my laptop. I had the pre-air rough cut saved. I watched it once, all the way through. Then I made a decision. I didn't respond to the group chat. I didn't sign their statement. I waited. I opened the folder on my desktop labeled Evidence. First document. The Pulitzer Center Grant Award letter. $85,000 for a documentary series called Recovery in Real Time. Opioid Survivors Speak. Dated 8 months ago. The series aired on PBS affiliates in 6 states. Over 2 million viewers. 4 state lawmakers cited it in testimony for a medication-assisted treatment bill that passed last spring. This wasn't a hobby. This was impact. I scrolled through the thank you emails. A mother whose son got into treatment after seeing episode 3. A counselor who said the series changed how her clinic talked to patients. A state senator who wrote, "Your work gave us the evidence we needed to move policy forward." They called it a passion project. It changed state law. But I had more than the grant letter. The interview wasn't just about my work. The anchor had asked me about obstacles, about early resistance. She'd asked about family. And I'd answered, honestly, I didn't trash anyone by name. I didn't have to. I just told the truth. The segment would show the grant, the Emmy nominations, the survivor testimonials, the policy impact, and it would show the cost. The years I spent alone, building something real while my family wrote me off. In 60 hours, everyone they knew would see it. I didn't need to say another word. The next morning, my phone lit up with notifications. The dealership had released the statement. Without my signature, without my permission, the local newspaper picked it up. Headline: Dealership family supports all ventures, even artistic pursuits. And there, in the third paragraph, was a quote. From me, except I never said it. I'm so grateful for my family's unwavering support. The dealership has always championed diverse paths. I read it 3 times. I never said that. They put words in my mouth. In print, my phone buzzed. A text from Emma. You should have signed. Now it's out there anyway. No hard feelings. No hard feelings. I screenshotted the article. Filed it in the folder. Then my dad called. I let it go to voicemail. Listen, his voice said, tight and controlled. If you make a scene about this, if you try to walk it back publicly, we will make sure people know you've had issues. Mental health struggles, instability. Don't test me. I saved the voicemail. I'm a journalist. I know how to build a story, and this one had receipts they couldn't fake. The interview aired in 36 hours. I turned off my phone notifications and went for a walk. They'd made their move. They'd lied in print, threatened me privately, and assumed I had no cards left to play. They were wrong. I had the biggest card of all, the truth, on camera, scheduled for Sunday at 6 p.m., and I hadn't told a single one of them. Back in my hotel room, I opened my email archive. Receipt number 2, an email chain with the news producer, time-stamped 3 weeks before the reunion invitation even arrived. Subject line, interview confirmed, local journalist profile. The producer had written, "We want to frame this as a story of resilience. Can you speak to early obstacles? Any family resistance to your career path?" I'd replied the same day, "Yes, I can speak to all of it." She'd asked for B-roll, photos from my early years, documents that showed the struggle. I sent her everything. The rejection letters from when I was 18. The eviction notice from my first apartment at 23. The photo of me editing on a decade-old laptop in a room the size of a closet. And the awards. The small ones first, then the bigger ones. The interview wasn't a puff piece. It was a profile of what it takes to build something real when the people who are supposed to support you walk away. I didn't trash my family by name in the interview. I didn't need to. The anchor had asked, "Did you have support?" I'd paused. Then I'd said, "I come from a family that valued one kind of success. When I chose another path, I lost their support. But I found my purpose. The truth. Simple. Clear. In 24 hours, everyone in that campaign dinner room would hear it." I closed the laptop. I didn't need to do anything else. The story would tell itself. I started thinking about why they cared so much. Why now? Why this reunion? Why the desperate push for a PR statement? I did what I always do. I researched. My dad's Chamber of Commerce race was tighter than I'd realized. His opponent was a woman named Maria Chen. She ran a workforce development nonprofit. Her platform was all about championing non-traditional success, supporting artists, trades, entrepreneurs. If my dad's own child was a successful journalist he'd disowned, it destroyed his entire brand. Family values, loyalty, tradition. That's what his campaign signs said. But I was living proof that his version of loyalty meant control. Then there was Emma. I found her LinkedIn. She'd posted 2 weeks ago about the dealership's franchise expansion. A bid for 3 new locations. The corporate office required a brand review. Multi-generational family unity was part of the pitch. My success, independent, visible, built without them, was a threat to both their stories. If I thrived after they cut me off, it meant their control was never necessary. That terrified them. This was never about me. It was about protecting their image. I was just collateral damage. Or at least that's what they thought. I looked at the countdown on my phone. 18 hours until the segment aired. I didn't need to fight them. I just needed to let the truth go live. I made one decision. Do nothing. Don't reply to the group chat. Don't refute the fake quote. Not yet. Let the interview air exactly as scheduled. Then I drafted an email. To a colleague of mine. A local media ethics reporter. Subject: fact-check request. Body: Hi, I'm reaching out about a misattributed quote in this article. I've attached the original interview footage for comparison. Thought you'd want to know. I didn't send it yet. I saved it as a draft, scheduled to send Monday morning, after the segment aired. Then I opened my social media, drafted one post, short, clean. I've never received financial support from my family since age 22. Here's the interview where I discuss my actual journey. Truth matters. I added a link placeholder, scheduled it for Sunday night, 8 p.m., 2 hours after the broadcast. Then I turned off all my notifications. I didn't need to watch them panic. I didn't need to see the messages flood in. I needed to trust the process. The work spoke for itself. The receipts were undeniable. I'd spent 10 years building credibility. They'd spent 1 week building a lie. The interview would air Sunday at 6 p.m. My family was hosting a campaign strategy dinner at my dad's house that night. I didn't tell them I wouldn't be there. I went for a walk by the river and watched the sunset. I felt calm for the first time in days. Sunday evening, 6 p.m., my family gathered at my dad's house. Extended family, campaign donors, local business owners, a few reporters my dad had cultivated relationships with. It was supposed to be a strategy dinner. Final push before the chamber vote. Someone turned on the TV in the living room. Local news for background noise. I wasn't there. I was sitting in a coffee shop across town, laptop open, watching the same channel. At 6:14 p.m., the anchor smiled into the camera. Up next, how one local journalist turned personal rejection into a Pulitzer-backed investigation that's changing lives. My face filled the screen. Back at my dad's house, someone noticed first. Emma. She froze mid-sentence, champagne glass halfway to her lips. Oh my God. The room went quiet. The segment opened with footage of me at an award ceremony. Then cut to the anchor's voiceover. A local documentarian is earning national attention. They showed the grant letter. $85,000. Pulitzer Center logo. Then the Emmy nominations. 3 of them. Then survivor testimonials. Real people. Faces on camera. A woman in her 40s crying. This journalist gave us a voice when no one else would listen. A state senator at a podium. This documentary gave us the evidence we needed to pass life-saving legislation. Then the anchor's interview with me. She asked about obstacles. I said, I come from a family that valued one kind of success. When I chose another path, I lost their support. But I found my purpose. The B-roll showed my early apartment. The rejection letters. The awards that came later. A survivor on screen, hugging me after a screening. You saved my son's life. The anchor closed the segment. An inspiring story of resilience and impact. Cut back to the studio. At my dad's house, phones started buzzing. All at once. A donor leaned toward my dad. Wait, I thought you said your kid was struggling? Wasn't that the whole thing? My dad's face drained of color. Emma stared at the screen, speechless. The room was staring at them now. A reporter in the corner pulled out her phone. Started typing. The segment was over. But the fallout was just beginning. I closed my laptop in the coffee shop. A stranger approached my table. Hey, are you? I just saw you on the news. That was incredible. I smiled. Thank you. My phone was still on silent. But I could see the notifications piling up. Hundreds of them. I didn't open a single one, not yet. Within 48 hours, the local media ethics reporter published her piece. Headline: Dealership misattributes quote in family PR push. The dealership's PR firm issued an apology. They blamed a miscommunication. The article was quietly updated. The fake quote removed. Emma scrubbed it from the website. My dad lost the Chamber of Commerce race by 3 percentage points. Maria Chen's closing campaign ad had featured a line about supporting all paths to success. She won. The dealership's franchise bid wasn't canceled, but the corporate office requested a brand values review. The expansion was delayed. No one was destroyed, but the facade cracked. I posted my scheduled statement Sunday night at 8 p.m. Simple, calm, factual. The comments flooded in. Thousands of them. Support from strangers. Gratitude from survivors. Messages from other people who'd been cut off by family for choosing their own path. A few extended family members reached out privately. My younger cousin, the one who always stayed quiet. I didn't know the whole story. I'm sorry. My aunt, the one who posted the sympathy message. I should have asked you directly. I'm sorry, I replied to some. Not all. I appreciate that. I need space right now. My dad sent one email. No subject line. Body. You made your point. I didn't reply. Instead, I used the visibility from the interview to do something I'd been planning for months. I launched a nonprofit, a documentary workshop for first-generation college students. We met twice a week in a small community center. 10 students. Donated cameras. I taught them how to find their story and tell it with integrity. 6 months later, one of my students won a regional film festival. Her documentary was about immigrant family stories. I sat in the audience and cried. She thanked me in her speech. To the mentor who believed in me, I thought about my own mentor, the one at PBS who gave me a chance. The cycle continues. But this time, I'm the one holding the door open. I don't talk to my parents anymore. Maybe one day that'll change. Maybe not. I'm not waiting for their approval. I left the family group chat. I built a new community. People who celebrate the truth. The dealership is fine. My dad still runs it. Emma still does the marketing. Their world didn't end, but their control over my story did. I set a boundary. I kept my receipts. I let the truth speak. And that was enough. Here's what I learned. Your success doesn't need their approval. Boundaries are not betrayal. And the truth, given time and the right platform, will always speak louder than a lie. So here's my question for you. Have you ever had to choose between family approval and your own path? What boundary did you set? Or what boundary do you wish you'd set sooner? Drop your story in the comments. I read every single one, and if this resonated with you, hit subscribe. Truth tellers need to stick together. I'll see you in the next one. One last thing. This story is a fictionalized dramatization for educational and entertainment purposes. It is not legal or financial advice. Always consult a licensed professional for your specific situation. Thank you for listening.